Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky194 and appreciate you taking the time to visit and check out my video. And gonna do this video is gonna be just a little bit different. I'm in the CP server here, but as you can see, the turnout it was really low, and every time I'm here at Snetterton Circuit, it's always that way. It's always really bad turnout. I guess a lot of people don't like the track or whatever. I don't mind it. It's not that bad. It's just like Alton Park or Donington or a lot of the even Brands Hatch. I mean, it's just a typical British track, but it's okay. Um, I qualified in the Audi there on the outside pole. Junior qualified on the pole in the AMG right there next to me, but he left for some reason, so that I don't know why. So then it ended up being even smaller. So I'm just going to show you the last couple laps, and then I'll go over the setup, because the main thing is the setup's really good for the Audi. I think it's a really solid setup. It's just, I didn't do the best of driving. I did a major mess up. I think on lap 2, I was in the lead, and I just blew my brake marker and went sliding off the track after the long back straight there, and then had to play catch up. I got back up to Beppe, which is had a really good pace and was running really good in the BMW, and so was Blue Team. Blue Team, I don't know his first name, Blue Team. He was running really good too in the Aston Martin. I mean, it took me a while to even catch him. He was running some good times. Because I got passed by them, got back to like fourth or something, third or fourth. But anyway, we'll just go over the last couple laps so you can see that and see how the car handles, and then we'll go over the setup instead of watching the whole race. So let's go over the last couple laps. Jump in the car. Just the start of. You see Beppe's right up there in front of me. My best is a 147.92, and that was a 148.19, and that's right near the end of the only couple laps left of the race. So it's for the Audi, it's really pretty consistent. My pressures were off. I kind of missed on my pressures, and plus going off a few times, it messed them up a little too. So plus it's kind of warm, so the car should be able to run a lot faster than this, but it's just basically lots of little things added up. I think I ran my personal best in this in practice when I was doing the setup. I ran like a 146.7 or something like that, and that's with race fuel load. So I was really, but like I said, it's hotter now, so the temperature's hotter, and my tires are not where they need to be. Okay, this is the last lap. And that was a 148.16. So still right, not too far away from my fast. Yeah, I don't mind this track. It's okay. I mean, I got some pretty good setups for it for this car now, and the Porsche and the BMW, or not BMW. I mean, the Bentley. I knew it was the B. The Bentley. So I got a few cars just got a good setup for this track. Need to add some more. Seems like a lot of people really struggle here. But Beppy was really doing really good. Like I said, and so was Blue Team. I went in way too hot there. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get to him, but I was just going way too hard. But still, I didn't lose it. So I mean, again, it really shows that it's a real driver friendly, even at the very last lap. So I really like that. So, I mean, again, that's a 148.66, but I really messed up the last. Now, you see I had 6 liters left, so I could have knocked off a few more liters off the, I started with 78? Yeah, I started with 78, I think it was. But I said I'm flashing to Beppy, tell him a good race. He did a really good job. You can hear him back there. But let's go ahead and I'll show you the setup now so we can go over that. So here we are at Snetterton Circuit, and I decided I did a few test laps. I wanted to get the tires in the correct pressures because during the CP race, of course, you adjusting the pressures and things like that to those conditions. So I wanted to make sure, per all the setups that I do, that it's still based on basically mid-20s temperature-wise. So I had to go through and just kind of double check and make sure the pressures were okay. And so I did a few laps, and then decided, a lot of people have a lot of problems here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do just a little mini track guide thing to go over it, and then we'll go over the setup. Excuse me. So we'll get behind the car here. There we go. So right when I'm past this, but before the arrow here. So I'm past the number 1, and I'm on the brakes. You can go a little deeper, about halfway in between, so it just all depends. And when you come up to turn 1, you want to early apex this corner. You don't want to late apex it because you'll be out in the grass. So you want to early apex it, kind of double apex it type thing. You want to let it drift wide a little bit and then bring it back in. That's the whole idea. So you're going to aim for that curb, that beginning curb right. See right here. You don't want to hit it. These curbs are pretty nasty. So, and there's a big bump. You can actually see the dip right there. So you don't want to hit that. So you want to come in here right next to the curbing, and then it's going to drift wide, and then you're going to bring it back, but you don't want to, don't get on the curb here. See, it goes out wide, and I bring it back, but not on the curbing. And you can run out here. I mean, if you're running a little wide and you run off into this, it upsets a little bit, but you won't wreck. And you come up to here, hit at the 2, or just inside the 2. Hard on the brakes, very hard braking zone. You don't want to dive inside here. You want to stay straight because it's a tight hairpin, and if you do that, you're going to run all out in the grass and all out wide here. So you want to go super straight. If somebody's coming on the inside of you, most of the chances they're going to run way wide. So just do your normal thing and cut them back. Just do an over under type thing, and you should be able to outdrive them down to the next corner. So basically, just stay straight and then downshift and hug the corner the best you can. I mean, I'm about a half a car length wide, but it's doable. It's not bad. You come up to here, And when you're coming up to this arrow is usually when I'm on either one of these arrows, I'm usually on the brakes. It's just on the brakes and off. It's not like it's just settling the car and then making a turn. Again, you can go over this, but be careful because it does upset, it does mess it up a little bit. And then here, it's before you get to the 1. A good car length or so before the 1, you want to be on the brakes. Again, another really hard braking zone. And kind of the same thing with the other hairpin. You're wanting to stay here, stay a little bit wide, and then cut it in. This is a really weird turn, but once you get used to it, you're cutting it in. And then here, now you can either run it right out and just go, or you can run it over onto this green and run it right out, and it doesn't hurt you as far as time wise. And then here, before you get to these arrows, or the orange here, it's way before that, or the guard. You can say the guardhouse, just depending upon what you like. But any of these, basically, before you get to that, it's just basically a stab the brakes to settle the car and cut in here, and you want to cut in here as tight as you can. That's not bad. That's okay. It could be a teeny bit more, but that's fine because you don't want to hit these, and sometimes the curbing upsets the car a little bit. And then here, as soon as you get past that arrow that's back there, once you pass it, you can be on the brakes, and you go down to first, cut it in, and then open it up so you can open straight, because what you're aiming for is this green spot right here. That's what you're going to be aiming for. So yeah, I get on the green because I'm trying to get as wide as I can for this crazy turn here to go on, to get the most momentum that I can for this long straightaway. Now this, basically, what I do, and you can do it different, is I'm in third, and once I come into the turn, I go down to second, and it just seems to have less mistakes that way. I did try third. Either way, it doesn't really seem any difference as time-wise. But just sometimes third, you're trying to carry more speed, and you end up running wide, and it screws your drive up. So second, it seems like it keeps you a little bit more consistent that way. Now you can go up to sixth, but I usually stay in fifth. And fifth gear, basically right here at the 1, that's where I messed up because I think I lost. I was watching Beppy behind me or something, and I think I just lost which marker it was really quick when I was coming up to it, and then I ended up going off into the grass up there. But basically, you want to come up to the 1, right up to it, and be on the brakes. And downshift to third, and this takes practice. This corner and that next one right there before the home straight there. It takes. You don't try not to be ultra aggressive because it'll get you. But you want to go down to third and just let it coast through here a lot of times, or a little bit. You can see I'm just barely feeding it any gas. So let's go over that again. See, I'm just barely feeding it some gas, a little bit of gas. And then here, you want to go down to third, and you want to be as wide as you can, but not upsetting the car. So you want to be right as wide as you can, but not off in the grass. So I'm right on the edge, actually, right there. So you can't get any wider than that. You're trying to get the best angle you can, and don't try to overdo this. Just try to get a good on the inside and not run it wide, and get a good drive coming out. I mean, that's the you'll gain more time that way, just like that. I mean, I could be a little bit more to the inside, but that's still decent. Here, I just basically lift and go right through it. And then here, it's just feeding it. You're trying to stay in here. You can see me feeding the gas. And then right around here, right when you're getting just about at the point of where it's going to go straight, I downshift into third. As you can see, I downshift to third. And you want to be as far right as you can. You want to be right here on the line. You don't want to be over here in the middle at all. You want to be as far right as possible, even coming into where you're off almost into the gray over here, real close to that. So you can get, again, you're trying to get the best angle as you can so you can get the drive down the straight, down that straightaway. You can see where I'm at right there. And then that way you can straighten it up as quick as you can, as quick, and then get down the straightaway. So that's just help you out. If you need any little help with the track, hopefully that'll help you out. That was a 147.07. And you can see I got 73 liters still. I mean, this is the first couple laps. I have run a 146.77, I think, was my fast lap. And that's with, I think what it was, I did back off the brake just a little bit, just to give it a little bit more drivability. So, I mean, if you want to go on kill and just dial the brake bias up, it will go faster. But I'm trying to keep the car to where, one, you're kind to the rear tires, and two, it's consistent over a race stint. Now, obviously, if you had a pit stop, where you were getting tires and you only had to go 20 minutes or something, you could really you could get more aggressive. So it gives you that option to change things to get more aggressive when you need to. But basically, the way I got it set up right here is just for a longer race stint. Listen to that thing. Man, that thing sounds good. That was a 147.09. So, again, very close to the same times. Let's go to the setup. And I got 25.4 for the left front, 25.7 left rear, 26.6 right front and right rear. The toe is a negative 0.06 on the front, with the camber at negative 3.6 and the caster at 13.1. On the rear, the toe is 0.1 with the camber at negative 3. Traction control is 3. ABS is 6. Of course, ECU is 1. Of course, I had 80 liters with number 1 brake pad. And you do get moderate graining or more. It just depends. I mean, it's really hard to say. The wear is really good, though. The wear is really good, but you will get even moderate graining. It doesn't surprise me because the track is pretty abrasive, and that's, again, you got to be careful with it. That's why I set it up that way. But it's still, again, like I showed you in my CP race, I was still putting close to my best time near the end. So tire wear really, at least it's even, so that's why it's still predictable. Any roll bars 3. Brake bias is 60. Now, that's what I was talking about. If you put it on 59, that's what I did when I was trying different things, and I ran my fast lap at a 146.77, and that's when basically I had it at 59 on the brake bias. So that definitely helps and makes a difference. But, again, I just put it back up because I figured it's better for a race stint, and it's more driver-friendly that way. The steer ratio is 13. Springs in the front are 174,000 with a bump stop rate of 900 and a bump stop range of 1. On the rear, the springs are 163,000 with a bump stop rate of 600 and a bump stop range of 10. The anti-roll bar is 2, and the preload on the diff is 50. The shocks on the front are 16, 14, 23, and 27, and on the rear, they're 17, 14, 20, and 22. Aero, we got 57 on the front, 62 in the rear with a 4 rear wing and a 3 and a 3 in the brake ducts, and the front aero variation was a negative 2.7. If you want a little bit more stability, this is really simple. All you need to do is just add one more click of wing. As you can see, goes all the way to negative 4.1. So if you think the car is still a little bit too nervous for you or a little bit too oversteery, just a click of wing and you're good to go. I mean, it should be pretty understeery. So, but I left it at 4, and I like the balance there. And again, it seems to hold its own through the wear. That's what I looked at on the tires, and the tires wear very even for the Audi, and that's what I'm looking at. And I think that's why the times, even whatever they are more consistent that way. So I think it's a really good setup for Snetterton. Um, One of my better ones, I think, and I think the Audi does really good here, and it's really fun to drive around here. So I hope that helps, because hopefully more people can enjoy the track and actually begin to like it a little bit, just a little with a car that can basically handle a little better and knowing the track. And I sure hope that you give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And of course, there'll be a link to this setup in the description. And I also have a PayPal link in the description. Also, if you want to help support the channel, I really appreciate it. Trying to save up to get a button box and also a camera. So just working on those kinds of things for trying to upgrade things to get for the channel. So I sure hope that you come back and visit again really soon. Y'all take care. See ya.